Oh,
So we are,
I don't know what's happening here.
so we are, yes.
Hmm.
So we are doing this self-inquiry. Why we need a self-inquiry? Because we have problems. We are suffering. So we have multitude of problems, anxiety, reaction, duality, blame, complaint, and that accounts for 90% of the problems in our life. Physical problem, we have physical problem, no issue. We can arrange the food and shelter, but this problem of suffering is huge. So Eastern wisdom has a different perception. It says that you do not know who you are. You claim who you are is the fundamental problem, and that problem is of ignorance. It is something like that the ocean and the waves. We are the ocean, we think we are the waves. Wave means limitedness. So when I'm limited, I start seeking peace and happiness from the world outside. From where we seek from the mind. Can I be aware that I'm seeking peace and happiness from others? First point of awareness. Second point, I should know whether the peace and happiness are located outside so that I can seek peace and happiness. So when the mind is not aware, not sure, happiness is outside and still I am seeking, that is what is known as the ignorance. One, and why there is an ignorance? Because there is a delusion. What is that delusion? That I feel I project happiness outside in the world on husband, on wife, on friend, on any object, but they do not contain the property of happiness. And it is a big issue because every time I wake up in the morning, I start searching, oh, the morning should be good, but morning is bad. Who says it? It is mine. So the mind has projected the bad on the morning. It is the problem of our mind. So when we start understanding Eastern wisdom, then we also understand that there are two types of two factors or two types of the world. One is known as the temporary world and other is known as the unchanging permanent. So our masters inspires us to make our mind aware that we should not seek any happiness whatever is changing in the world. So we have two types of the world that we discussed before, temporary and the permanent. Like ocean, water is permanent, whether you go to Australia or India or any country or any ocean, water is the same. Waves are different and they are temporary. So, what the masses this metaphor gives, I have to find out what are the temporary in our human being. So, that is why we say it is a human being. The being part is unchanging. The human part is the body, breath, mind, intellect, ego, thoughts, feeling. They keep on changing. I love someone today and I hate the same guy tomorrow. So it is my problem. It is not the problem of that person. And we don't realize it. So when we don't realize, then we create problem in our mind. What are those problems? It may be a binding desire, it may be greed, it may be agitation and the stress in our mind because I love the person who is not with me. And I have a reaction. I hate the person by chance that person is with me. I don't have any chance to remove that. So that causes any problem. But these are the problems of the mind. Whether we say binding desire, whether we say greed means repeat desire, agitation, delusion, pride, and the jealousy. So now Master asks that do you know how many times you were jealous, greedy, you were agitated because of the situation outside and the world outside? Oh, maybe 100 times every day. I'm a non-seeker. The greatest problem is that I intellectually understand, but I don't follow it. I don't stop the mind being jealous, being reactive. I don't follow it. So when I don't follow, then I have fears. Then I have reaction. Then I have jealousy and hatred, and all accumulate together, builds unwanted stress in our life. Now question comes, how to unshackle our mind? That is what we are discussing, and that is the goal of the Eastern wisdom. The first thing that I should differentiate between the temporary and the permanent. So and then I start looking. I live in that awareness. I live in that awareness of temporary and permanent. Why it matters? The moment I see this, any relationship is temporary. Any relationship is temporary. I was not born with my wife, for example. So there was no wife at the time of the birth. At a certain time, husband or wife came into existence, and after some period of the time, one has to go before, either by divorce or by other means. So it means that is temporary. That is the message given by the metaphor waves in the ocean. The waves rise up. So temporary situation, temporary relationship, temporary pleasure, temporary pain. This is what our... So Master saying that can't you be aware of that? It is so easy and it is so difficult. Why it is easy? When I intellectually say yes, 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 and the moment the session is over, the mind takes over me with those temporary feelings and the thoughts. That is why the Master is saying it is the impurities of the mind, it is the delusion in the mind. Why it says? Because it says the freedom and awakening is internal, it is not external. Why it is not external? Because whatever we perceive in the world outside is temporary. Temporary. One. Second, the Master is saying we are already permanent peace and happiness. We need not to make an effort. You simply remove what is temporary, causing you blame, complain, and once you remove that, we find that uh, permanent happiness. You don't introduce or produce the calmness inside your home. You rush inside the home, close the door, and sit down. The calmness is there. In the same way, that internal contains permanent peace and happiness. But until that until that delusion drops from the mind, we cannot find that permanent peace and happiness. So then, if we continue the process, we find very important points. The thought says that I am, for example, I'm upset over you. So upset belongs to the mind inside. You are outside. My mind projected happiness on you, which expectation is not met. And because the expectations is not met, I am upset, and that is in my mind. That is a thought associated with the feeling. So our master says, can you become aware that you are not your thoughts and feeling? Why you are not your thoughts and feeling? Because it originates into the mind and it will dissolve into the mind. So the moment when I become aware that upset is a thought associated with the feeling belongs to the mind, and if I drop this thought, feeling also drops, the impurity is gone. But out of this statement, our masters teaches us that once the feeling of upset is gone, you have to further investigate it. So after further investigation, we find that upset causes the suffering comes from projecting peace and happiness outside on a situation, on a person outside. So it is a misidentification. It's a wrong identification. What is identification? The mind keeps on thinking that you will give me peace and happiness. It has never happened in the entire journey of human civilization, and it is not going to happen even with us. So that constant and consistent thinking on the object, situation, person, relationship makes us feel that I'm identified with this, and this identification will bring happiness in me. So out of this statement, first we started, we are not our thoughts and feelings. Then we recognize it belongs to the mind, whether I'm upset or whether I'm receiving pleasure. So I'm receiving pleasure or pain from outside is a misidentification. Second conclusion we find. So it means I should live my life without any identification. That is the second. But then master says, no, not only this. You have to see that the permanent, now we go back. What is temporary and permanent? So the master says that permanent lies beyond the senses. Beyond the senses means what? My sense organ is limited. Every sense organ is limited. It cannot find infinite permanent happiness. It means it is beyond the senses. So there is another way to understand it is subtle. What is physical perceived by the senses? So one example of beyond the senses is that the thoughts, you cannot see my thoughts, I cannot see your thoughts. So it means thoughts and feelings are beyond the senses. Your eyes may have the tears of joy, but you feel the joy in the mind. You don't feel the joy in the eyes. You don't feel the joy in the nose or ears. It means it is beyond the senses. That is the point of conclusion by our masters. So when we start looking and going deeper into the mind, that begins the journey of meditation. The time comes by removing all kinds of delusion. Ultimately, we touch the essence, we touch the permanent consciousness, or you can say we touch the real self and we find our real self. Once you find the real self, it is irreversible process. It cannot be reversed. What it means by it cannot be reversed? Simple thing that now once you have clicked, you have found that permanent happiness. Now whether you are sleeping, living with your honey or not, whatever the situation is, you continue to live into that permanent happiness. That is why we use the word awakening, self-knowledge, self-realization. That is why we use this word. So this is one way to understand the entire journey. So in order to facilitate an easy understanding, we started with the metaphor of ocean and the waves. Ocean and the wave, or better, you say water and the waves. Every wave is a water, but I feel I am the wave. I feel, I project, I think, I am deluded that I am the wave. We don't even realize that every wave is a water. Wave is just a name in the form. Same way, this body, mind, intellect, and the ego is just a name in the form. It rises means it has taken the birth, it grows, matures, aging, and gone. But it does not mean the wave is gone, the water is gone. The water still remains. So it means if I recognize I am the essence of the wave, the essence of the human being is pure consciousness. So when we recognize that essence, we find ourselves, we recognize that we are real self, we are of the nature of pure consciousness, of permanent peace, happiness, love, truth and wisdom. It is not more philosophical, it is very practical. Your mind has a thought that I am upset because of you. It is in the thought. You drop the thought, you recognize it is only a thought which contains the feeling of upset. Upset is also a part of the thought. The moment you drop both, the peace is already there. But why should I drop it? Because I expected happiness from the person outside. So, from where the expectation comes? From the mind itself. Why the mind expects this? Because I feel the hollowness inside, emptiness inside. I have seen who lived a single life. Oh, I didn't marry. I have seen my parents are fighting. Hence, I am living single. They are also too damn frustrated. I have a group session where two women are deadly frustrated. And they no, I recognize that it's better not to marry. Are you happy? It is not a whether you marry or you divorce. Happiness is inside you. They cannot find the happiness inside because they have accumulated so many impressions of anger, hesitation, and upset inside them. And those who are married, so they grow their expectations from others. So it is the mind that needs the proper treatment, that mind needs to remove the delusion so that mind can reflect that there is no external happiness. And external happiness is nothing but the delusion. Once with that understanding, if we practice meditation, that will help us. So it means the thought belongs to the mind. So when I'm practicing, I'm doing any practice of meditation, the thought comes, the knowledge, that recognition is there, that awareness is there. The thought do not have a property of happiness, finished. So let the thought come and go. But I find thought is disturbing me. The same thought I created which is disturbing me. What a funny thing. No, I did not create any thought. No, you created a thought that your honey doesn't give you love. This is your thought. And now the same thought you have created and same thought you find it is a distraction. The distraction will continue to remain. No, I am alone, so I will be happy. So this is not being alone, this is being lonely. Why being lonely? Because I have lot of expectations from the world outside. So when I sit in meditation, my mind rushes to those expectations which I call the distractions. So you drop all the distractions. Where is the distraction? You drop all the thoughts of expectations. Where is the distraction? So I don't want to understand. I simply want to practice meditation. And after the meditation, my expectations returns. And after a few hours, that peace is gone. And I continue the same. I continue to live. When days after days, weeks after weeks, months after months, we continue to live in the same way. So more expectations are accumulated in my mind, more blame and more complaint, which I say that I have become mature. Why? Because I divorced. I did the right thing. Are you happy? Whether you marry or divorce, that's a secondary thing. Oh, I have left that house. That is also a divorce. Now I am happy. You cannot be happy. So their master brings us the understanding of what is false and real. False is temporary. False is objective reality. The real is subjective reality. The false keeps on changing. Real is always permanent. Real is independent. False is always dependent. That is how we define. Why we define? At least I should recognize. I want to remain sweet 16 all the time. Not possible. I want to impose what is real on the temporary. That causes lot of problems. That causes lot of problems. Couple of Americans, recently I was reading listening to the news. I don't know why those news. I simply there is no intention that I have to listen. I have a free time, so half an hour, so let me listen to the news. So there are three women who went to Turkey to beautify their body by their facial surgery. So they were very particular. In Turkey, when they do the surgery, they reshape your nose. More triangular, not not ugly like my nose. You all have a good nose. So they tried it, and the infection took place. They all died there. So my beauty lives in my nose. We don't even think about it. We simply are deluded. It is temporary, we don't see it. So it is a long journey. We explore where is false step by step. We recognize it, we de-identify with it. De-identify means now I'm detached. The body continues to grow. It does not have, we don't have enough control over it. And that is the point, that is the point masters are making, that when you separate mentally, you don't leave the body, you don't leave the mind, but you have a cognition. You have a cognition, you have awareness inside that I am not the body, I am not the mind. You don't mistake map for the territory. We mistake map for the territory. I mistake the body is me. So if my nose is more triangular pointed, then I will look more beautiful. Who is looking at your beauty? You have a projection in your mind that everyone is looking at me. Even if you are in a business of fashion model, people look at a particular time and then they leave it. We don't understand. The mind is so much confused with these thoughts and ideas that causes lot of challenges. What are those challenges? I'm repeating again. What are those challenges? Those challenges are the impurities of the mind. How the impurities starts? The impurities starts with the binding desire. What is binding desire? You have to go to the restroom. You have a desire to. It is not binding. You go there, return, finished. You are hungry. You go to the kitchen, eat food, finished. It is not binding. Binding means that you continue to have the same repetitive thoughts about a person, about a situation. Don't you see that, when you start dating and then you lie down on the bed and imaginary honey appears before you, you are lost into it. Imaginary house appears, imaginary you are a billionaire. That is binding desire. My honey will give me happiness, at least he will be calm today. Who the hell you are? Why don't you look at your own calmness? No, because if he is calm, then I will be calm. Send me phone number of your honey. I will ask them to remain calm. And let me check whether you remain calm or not. It is not possible. But we don't listen to it. We don't want to listen to it. Our happiness, our calmness, our love, our wisdom all depends on others. So when we follow that others, it is not going to help you at all. You have to sit down, contemplate, and reflect every day until the mind drops all the binding desire. I started talking, repeating the causes of the impurity. The binding desire causes all our anger, hesitation, delusion, and problem in the suffering. Let us start our practice. Close your eyes with that understanding. You close your eyes, find out your place, position, and posture. It's a preparatory stage where your eyes are closed. Now, which principle I discussed is in this step involved? Simple. Can you figure out many principles? One of them, that real self cannot be perceived by the senses. So we closed our eyes symbolically to understand what we understand, that we are going beyond the senses, we are preparing. So again become aware of the place of the body with the name and the form, and the place of the real self, which is awareness, which is consciousness, that is formless and nameless. When you have boundaries over the space, it is a house or the room, does not mean the space is divided. Same way the real self is not divided, it is still the same infinite. So you simply recognize, or you simply say in your mind, I am the real self of life, the space. Then this mind will drop the distractions when throughout the day you remind. Second point of the second step that I say is being comfortable. And I use the word being comfortable is changing the direction of the mind. Changing the direction of the mind. You're walking towards your home. On the way, you find hundreds of homes, and now you reach to your home. Your back is towards the other homes. What I'm saying, your back is towards other thoughts of the world. You are free. We don't want to understand it. And that is causing the problem. I have a lot of thoughts. I'm distracted. You are inside the home and you claim that you are distracted. It is lack of understanding. In the last session I explained you, it happens because I want to continue with the same thoughts, same feeling. My mind internally with a big ego says I don't want to change. Carry forward those same impressions every day. Being comfortable, you are looking at. Then I make it very simple, changing the direction. Simplest way is to look at any joint of the body, say neck joint. So you look, feel, and know. You look, feel, and know neck joint. And there mind is lost and the neck joint is lost, and you have an experience of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. That migration of the mind, you have to be aware of it. No, I'm aware of many thoughts that is distracting me. You see the why? It's the same thing, the binding desire or the ego. It doesn't want to leave you. So what should I do? I should repeat it. Let me look at the neck joint again. Be there. Look, know, and feel. Does the neck joint has many thoughts? No. We question. Even in the practice of meditation, answer is yes. Because if you do not have any other thought, then the thoughts of identification, nothing is going to work. Or it may work in this session, and after that, so I experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Let me move the mind and the entire body, the skin of the body, moving the mind and the skin of the body. And as you move the mind and the skin of the body, you will find sensation, comfort, and steadiness. It is already there. What I discussed during the talk, the calmness is already there in the mind. I don't see it. Why I don't see? Because the mind is overpowered by the thoughts of expectations. So in that state of sensation, comfort, and steadiness, we move to the next step is being carefree. Being carefree. Change of direction is done by being comfortable and finding the comfort. Living within is the way to be carefree. Another way to be carefree means that you don't become the driver when you are a passenger and your friend is the driver. Your friend remains as a driver, you are simply a witness. You don't start teaching and guiding, you remain at a distance. So the old mind, the crazy mind, is always acts like a driver, and you have an awareness. Where is that awareness? Awareness is different from the mind, the thoughts, feeling, and emotions. There is another way. The moment any thought enters into the mind, you recognize this is a thought. This is a thought of anxiety. I am not the thought. I am not the anxiety. And you just do nothing. You remain as it is. You will be able to discover that you are none of these thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Even if the thought comes, I am happy now, or this is also, I am happy now is a thought. Happiness is an object. I am neither the thought nor the happiness present in that thought. You say it mentally. After saying, you just live into that awareness. What you will find that all these thoughts, feelings, emotions are not you. First, they are separate from you. You separated? No, they are already separate. So what happens in delusion and suffering? They merge together. They give you a feeling that thought is you. What the thought says, I'm into anxiety. So you have become anxiety. Now I have lot of stress. So I have lot of stress. So you are carefree. But it does not. If you are not practicing daily, you are not listening and contemplating and reflecting daily, what happens? The mind returns to its old routine. mind does not go deeper within. It returns from the middle path and then it says, I still have the problem. Why it returns? Because of I have more reliance on getting stressed, start blaming, complaining, reacting. Why? Because mind goes back in search of the happiness outside. So then for that, to live the mind deeper within, we have another step which will help you to live deeper within. We are not doing any active step today. So your mind moves on the skin of the head and the neck. You pick up the mind, you place the mind anywhere in the top center of the head, and from there, the mind moves on the skin of the head and the neck, touching the skin. And when it touches the skin, you know, you feel, you experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Even after listening for 3 to 4 years, I did not have a faith in the practice. That is why I don't do it. I have faith in my anxiety, my distraction, my ego, my repetition of the thing. Otherwise, I should be repeating and come back with lot of questions and the doubt in every session. Look at the right arm, let the mind move in the skin of the right arm, from the right shoulder. Your mind is looking at the right, touching the skin. The moment, I feel a very intense sensation in the entire right arm. That is what I say, look, feel, know, and experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. So you don't move the body, you are moving the mind. The mind that is moving on multiple millions of the thoughts you accumulated because of the expectations. Here, that is not there. Move the mind on the left arm, from the left shoulder to the fingertips. You don't think in terms of scanning. You're fully aware. You're moving the mind on the skin of the left arm, and suddenly the thought takes you away. You recognize and you say, let me do it again. Again the thought comes, let me do it again. So in that process, you are doing couple of times. What happens? You experience the sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Sensation is a homogeneous, it is the expansion, it is the experience of relaxation. Is it already there? Yes. Sensation is already there. Relaxation is already there. The stillness changes. Body is still, body is not still. Move the mind on the right leg, from the right side of the waist. Mind is touching the skin and moving down to the knee, calf, ankle, heel, sole, toes. The entire right leg, you feel, you experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Moving the mind on the skin of the left leg. We are not in a hurry. If your mind is in a hurry, it is not interested in the practice. It is more interested in distraction. It says, hurry up, complete it. I have lot of things to give you. What? Expectations. That is distraction. You recognize no thought can ever distract you. Thought is there, you are aware of it. The traffic is there in the middle of the highway you are driving, but your awareness is on you. Sensation, relaxation, and stillness. You experience the sensation, relaxation, and stillness. The entire body, from the top of the head to the toes, your mind as if like a water sprinkles on the whole body, starting from the top of the head under the top of the head to the toes, as if you are under a shower. If your mind is fully attentive, fully aware, it touches the skin of the whole body, moving down, and you experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. So you don't feel that. You can move the mind once again, once again, once again. So repeating means I'm humble, I'm ready to change. If I don't repeat and I start blaming and complaining, it is not, nothing is going to happen. And now, in that state of sensation, relaxation, and stillness, which we discussed, that real self is beyond the perception of the senses. So we get some feel the mind is living within, and within we see the space or darkness or emptiness. On that darkness and emptiness, you look at the breath. There is a space or there is an emptiness on which the breath is moving. There is a flow of the breath. So the flow of the breath, mind follows the movement of the breath. Mind and the breath are going together. So when the mind follows the breath, when the mind is aware of your car and you are driving, it is not distracted by the other cars on the highway. That is the same way the breath, the mind follows the breath. When mind follows the breath, other thoughts are there, let them come and go. So other thoughts are there and still I'm not distracted. That is one thing, and then the moment the breath goes in, just drop in your mind in one. When the breath comes out, just drop in non-verbally without moving your tongue or the lips, out one, into, out two. So while we are counting, we engage the mind to remain on the movement of the breath, then on distraction. Continue, you count up to 1 to 25, and then 25 to 1. You miss it. Why you miss it? You enjoy the distraction, and then you blame the distraction. I requested you're aware of the breath going in and out. Mind follows the breath. When the mind follows the breath, it is counting non-verbally. Yes, it is counting non-verbally. Doing nothing, just remain as you are. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your Buddha palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. How are you, Mead?
I feel peaceful.
Good.
And I feel that I experience more of the journey.
Good, good. You have to do the practice every day without fail. Morning, evening, repeat the practice. Then we can find the permanent change. How are you, Anne? You have to unmute it. I can mute, but I cannot unmute. That is the option. Yes.
Yes, I feel quiet, peaceful, calm.
Very good. Peaceful, calm. In the yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was quite calm all day long.
Oh, all day long. That is a good recognition. That is a good, I say recognition Modern psychology is, our science is so funny. So they use the word cognition. Oh, that's a big word. It's not a big word. Cognition or recognition, same thing. So we use very simple language. Anyhow, remain in peace and calm. We are meeting tomorrow at 8. No, at 11 your time. How are you, Charlie?
Hi, I'm good. I feel quiet and calm. I've been practicing this week when I've had repetitive thoughts saying, "This is the loop.
Yeah.
I'm not this. If I rely on the mind, it's just going to identify with the external world." So I've been doing that. I have a question for you. Not sure quite how to
Yeah.
So when we first started doing this, the concept of everything's impermanent was a sad concept to me. Like, we're going to lose everything. Nothing's permanent. I'm going to die. Everyone's going to die. And it brought sadness. Today, I was more if I'm connecting with the permanent, it helps me enjoy the impermanence rather than feeling the sadness of the impermanence. Does that make sense?
No, you see that, when you say everything is temporary, then everything is going to die. Here is the catch. I am not the body, so I don't die. Why? Because I am permanent. So we are discovering what exactly is the permanent beyond body, breath, mind, intellect, and ego. That does not die. But I'm not falsely superimposing on the body that I am the body and body is temporary and it is going to die. It means I'm going to die. So it is also a thought.
So right, it's the real life.
It's a real
I
self.
I can think about it as a thought, but I've been sort of getting it more as a reality.
That is what we have been undertaking the journey step by step. In the beginning, we use the thought to find the cause and effect. In that cause and effect, I find everything is temporary, and in a deeper and a higher meditation, I experience, I know, I realize that there is an entity different and separate from the body, breath, mind, intellect, and ego, which is permanent. That is the journey Eastern wisdom is saying. But I cannot jump on to the final step. We are just trying. We give the thoughts. Our master gives us the thought. Okay, this is. Do you see it as a temporary? Body is temporary. Yes. Do you see the mind? The thoughts are temporary. Yes. Everything is temporary, and still I exist. What is that? So then there are many other simple principles. We get rid of this mind which is totally identified with what is changing, and then the same mind reflects what is unchanging, what is eternal. And that is what ultimately is the practice of Eastern wisdom and the meditation. So it is a step by step. I cannot jump on to the highest, but I could maintain that awareness. Body is changing, yes. Mind is changing, yes. The mind will frustrate you. Mind will cause you anxiety. When everything is temporary, then I'm going to die, then everything. Then I feel loneliness and I get more frustrated. No, there is a real self. Eastern wisdom says, remind your mind. In the beginning, you remind your mind, After you realize, you need not to remind the mind, you are already there. You are already there. Does the water ever cry of dying? The waves may cry that I am the body and the mind, then I am dying, I am going to die. I don't know from where the birth of this wave has come. We are small waves, like, we rise and this fall. Rise and fall because I am the body and the mind. But in the same wave, if I recognize that I am the water, there is no question of rise and fall. There is no question of birth and the death. Same wave recognizes that I am the water. There is no birth and death. Where is the birth and death of the where I recognize I am the water? I am not the wave. I am not the wave. Metaphorically. So we go, we take the journey step by step. Good. Think of this, what we discussed. That is all for today. We will meet again.